Lean on your brother tonight. Let your brother count on you every play tonight. Okay? And come out and have fun. The gates are locked. Ain't nobody getting out now. They can't run. The gates are locked. Let's bring the fight to them, guys. Yes, sir. Hey, brother. Let's pray.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.live.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome It's bEast from the East, Week 16. We got state semifinals coming up to talk about. It's KO Kyle Owens, Mr. NETSN Brett Swinney, the usual suspects here to talk semifinals. Kyle, it's the Final Four. It's here.
I know it's good and bad because it's good because it means we're down to the four best teams left in each class in the state. But it's bad because that means football's almost over. It means another season is almost come and gone.
What? What's going on? You hear that? Is that an ad? I thought he was coming back in Survivor Series. Wait, no way. It could be. It's a Swaggy Ball.
Hey!
He's back.
Oh man.
We got
Swaggy?
Swaggy. Welcome back. It's been a while, sir.
Oh man, it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Now I felt left out. You and Kyle are catching up and having this reunion over here this weekend, and I'm honored that you tagged NETSN, but I was like, man, I just feel left out. I should be there too. I feel like
It was great to see my boy yesterday, man. I was actually stoked to see Cal. I was like, Cal. I was excited to see Cal. The outcome of the game I went to excited about, but it was great to see Cal.
Listen, I was down there, trying to stay out of the rain and underneath the stadium, and I hear a voice. I turn around, I look. He started walking back. I said, "Swaggy." He said, "Oh, I'm gonna come down there to you. I'm gonna come down there." Okay, bet. It was awesome though. It was awesome to see.
It was great to see you too, man.
so. You've had a lot going on here as of late, Swaggy. Tell everybody about what you've got started over there now. You've got your own little media outlet going on.
Yeah, go ahead, Cal. Oh,
No, I was just I was acknowledging my OTC. That's what I was acknowledging.
yeah, I'm no longer a part of the Dub podcast. I am now branching out on my own. I've started my own brand, the OTC Media. It don't stand for the original Tribal Chief. It stands for Only with True Confidence Media.
Not that. Okay. Wrong OTC. Sorry.
We still the ones though. We still the ones.
Okay.
I'm actually debuting my new show tomorrow night, to be exact.
Okay.
With 2 weeks of football left, basketball is right around the corner. Well, it's already in the mix, but it's gonna get started with district, I believe, Tuesday. So it's right on time to start basketball and
So
get this thing going.
So is this show on Monday night?
I pick Monday nights
So it's yesterday then. It's on yesterday. So go back and check it out because it's Tuesday today. What day do you think it is? It's Tuesday.
I wish it was Tuesday, but yeah, it debuts tomorrow night. I would gladly tag you guys in it. I'm gonna touch on these upcoming games and, like I said, basketball because man, basketball has been juicy. So it's gonna be.
And Dallas Carter, they don't have that other team to get by this year. So
yeah,
and
right,
make a run.
Yeah, right now this Carter team looking great. They're full of nothing but sophomores and freshmen, but they are currently sitting at 10-4. They went to Beaumont this week down there in the Beaumont tournament, and they won every game except for 2. They lost to the semifinals to Beaumont United, 37-33. And they lost a third place game to Cypress Creek by 9. Other than that, they blew out everybody else, including Dallas W.T. White. So with Faith Family gone, this might be the year.
Well, it's happy times in Carter. I'm sure you guys weren't sad to see the Faith Family guys, and now they're out doing their own schedule now. So that'll be interesting to see how that works out for them. I mean, they were basically doing that anyway. They'll just have to fill the district slate games with something else.
So they look great nationally. I think right now they only lost like 2 games, I believe, or 3. They look great.
Yeah, good move for them in the school. All right, let's talk some football here. We got our pick'ems from last week. Let's go down through here these games. And Jaron not available tonight. I was hoping he would be able to join us as he called this this first game. Game one is Honeygrove and Joaquin. Man, I shouldn't have doubted my Rams. Man, I went with Honeygrove. I was drinking the Kool-Aid, and Joaquin said, nah. So fast as they spanked Honeygrove. 46-22 is a game that we had that we called for the NFHS network. And man, Kyle, you and I watched it. Swaggy, did you watch this game Thursday?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch that one Thursday.
Okay. We watched it. Kyle, I was impressed that Joaquin, man, they just basically did their stuff, and the defense was more impressive. They just kind of held Honeygrove. Besides a couple of big plays, they didn't do a whole lot on offense.
No, they didn't. The Joaquin defense in this playoff run has been playing really, really well. In this playoff run, they really haven't. I mean, they've had a couple of close games, but these last two, it's supposed to get harder as you get deeper into the playoffs.
Right.
For Joaquin, it seems like it's getting easier. Like they're starting to beat teams by more and more the deeper they go. The way Joaquin plays football is extremely tough to stop, especially when you're playing a team that maybe has never seen you before. Like I don't know, if Joaquin and Ganado have ever even met each other before, but it's really hard to prepare for Joaquin's style of offense if you've never seen it before. And so the way Joaquin plays offense, if they can control the game and control the clock and not play from behind the chains and not play from behind in the game, they're a really, really tough team to beat. And that's what they did. I picked Joaquin, but I didn't expect them to do that to Honeygrove. Like I thought it would be a lot closer than it was, but my hat's off to Joaquin and Coach Jones over there. He's got those Rams rolling right now, and there's no reason to think that they can't roll all the way to AT&T Stadium.
What was the score of that game?
It was 46-22.
Oh wow.
So,
and it really wasn't that close. Like if you take away, there was two big plays, and they happened back to back. There was a big play that happened, then a fumble on the next kickoff that Honeygrove recovered, and then another big play. You take out those two plays, it's what, 46-6, baby? Like
yeah,
it wasn't that close, really.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Joaquin did what they needed to do, and they are moving on. And another team that we man, I thought Grapeland, they beat Fremont earlier in the year. One of those games that you get them a second time, it's a little different story. And at Fremont, they didn't have much trouble with them in a game that we also had. Keith and Jason were down on the call in that one in Madisonville, and Fremont 44-14. Goodness, Grapeland just struggled on offense. Had a lightning delay in the middle of the second half. But I think the Grapeland offense was on lightning delay the whole game. It just, only scored 14. We really were excited about this opportunity for Grapeland, having a team that you've already seen, you've already beaten. I don't know this, I don't know if they had their quarterback then, Kyle. We weren't really sure when he went down or if he played, but we kind of thought, well, if they didn't have the quarterback for that first matchup and they're playing so much better now, we kind of thought they had a really good chance. And man, Fremont just had other plans.
Well, to me, the surprising thing is not the fact that Grapeland didn't score offensively. It was the fact that the defense gave up 44 points. Like the defense for Grapeland has been their calling card all season long. They've been holding teams to 20 and less points per game and barely beating these teams, maybe scoring 25, 26 points. So them putting up 14 is not the big surprise. It's them giving up 44 that really kind of shocked me. So quarterback or not, I'm not sure what happened defensively there to give up 44 to Fremont, but still a great year for Coach Wood and the Grapeland Sandies. And he's at least got the Grapeland team on the right track now. So now you have a strong foundation to build off of going into next season.
So what was the score of the first meeting when Grapeland won?
Let's see. I can probably tell you. Give me 1 second here. I know it was from September. I think like one of the first week season. I think the second week of the season here.
44-32.
Got it.
So that was a fresh game. That was like
it was week 2.
Yeah, week 1, week 2. Yeah. How bad did they lose this one?
Yeah, it was 44-14 this time.
Yeah,
Fremont got them in.
It was well prepared for them.
Yeah, they made some adjustments from the first meeting, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, we had this one. The first game, Joaquin only had 9 people pick that one correct. Only 14 got this one right. So the first 2 games, both underdog picks according to the NETSN Pick'em Challenge. So, man, big shout out to Bremont and Joaquin both for getting one. Now, the next one on the Pick'ems was a unanimous decision for NETSN. They all were correct as Carthage dismantled Van 53-14. Sorry, Jeremy Titsworth. Your Vandals, rough ending to the season there. Kyle, we kind of thought this, but I know you were one of the ones that thought it might be a little closer. Carthage, they didn't like that. They took offense to that.
Yeah, they took that personally, apparently. I was excited with what Van had done this year, but even talking to Coach Moffitt this week, like he knew that these games they had been winning had been close games. Like they had been sneaking by in every single game this postseason, which is not a bad thing. That's a credit. That's a credit to a good team to be able to find a way to win these close games. But at some point, you're going to run up against somebody, and it's not going to be a close game. And that was the Carthage Bulldogs. And Carthage is still Carthage. I hate it for Van and for Coach Moffitt that they went out the way they did because it was over by the end of the first quarter. It was 27-0 at the end of the first quarter. Like it was a wrap from the jump. So I hate it for Van, but I mean, looking back at it, if you're Coach Moffitt, you had a successful year. You got to the 4th round of the playoffs and lost to a 9-time state champion. I don't think there's anything to really hold your head down about if you're Coach Moffitt or the Van Vandals. But Coach Surratt and the Carthage Bulldogs on the quest for number 10, and I know we'll talk about their opponent a little later on, but I think they have a really, really good shot at being back at AT&T Stadium.
Personally, firstly, hats off and shout out to Coach Surratt. Man, what a pillar of the game. I was telling my guys this past week, Carthage is a team that is hard to bet against. I don't care who they playing. That's one team you see on that playoff schedule, and you can tell your kids, hey, we got to come out here and give it all against these guys. We can't leave nothing. But with Gilmer gone, I'm like you, Cal. I think Carthage got Kilgore's in the mix, right?
Well, Kilgore's in Division 1.
Oh, in Division 1. Okay,
They've actually already played earlier in the season. So
I think with Beville gone, Silsby gone, I think Carthage. This is pretty much a walk into AT&T.
Yeah, we kind of thought that maybe Pleasant Grove might have been their last.
Yeah.
Test. But we'll see. We'll see how it ends up. Game 4, another game that I missed. There's a pattern here. I've missed the first 3 out of the first 4 here. It was a rough start this week, but the Chapel Hill Bulldogs took it on the chin, and I kind of want to hear what Kyle has to say about who played what position and how everything went, because I didn't really get to it. I had this game on, but obviously I was broadcasting and couldn't pay as close attention to it as I would have probably. Kyle, how'd this game go, besides the fact that Kilgore kind of took it from the start and didn't really let off the gas?
Well, as far as who played what position, Brisbane started the game at quarterback, and very first carry fumbled, and Kilgore picked it up. So then Malik G came in. They alternated like the first couple of series, and then after that, it was mostly Malik G at quarterback for the remainder of the game, and Brisbane kind of alternating, being at receiver, just kind of wherever in the formation. So mostly, I mean, they kind of both played quarterback, but it was mostly a Malik G quarterback team. It was just Kilgore, man. It was Kilgore. You could almost feel that Kilgore was sick and tired of it. Like they were just sick and tired of hearing everybody talk about how they can't beat Chapel Hill when it matters. And I think they just got sick and tired of it. And they played like a team that was sick and tired of having people talk about them. And that's just how they played. They played like the defense just held. You have 2 Division I athletes. We just had signing day a few days ago. You just had Demetrius Brisbane going to Baylor, Ricky Stewart going to Texas. Kilgore's defense held those two D1 athletes to probably under 75 yards of offense. Like just those two combined. Like, so if you can do that as a defense and you're forcing everyone else to beat you, that's tough on an offense as a sophomore quarterback that's still learning and still growing and still maturing. So I think for Chapel Hill, they just ran into Kilgore at the wrong time. Kilgore got Chapel Hill at the right time, and Kilgore's got a dang good football team. This Kilgore football team is a problem. They are a problem. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. They play stout defense. They're physical up front. They have all the tangibles that you want in a state championship quality team. Can they finish it off? I don't know, because they got my whole thing was, could they get the monkey off their back of beating Chapel Hill? Could they do that? They did it. What do we always talk about? What's that? Don't have that letdown the following week. Did they pour so much emotion and energy into this game that there's a letdown this upcoming week? I hope not, and I don't think so, but that's my only concern. But this Kilgore team they're a dang good football team.
Yeah, I think they've got an opponent in the state championship game if they get there. That will be a challenge. I think the semifinals that we see now, I mean, if you kind of had picked it before we started that in 4A Division I, you'd say Stephenville, Salina, Kilgore, and Austin LBJ. Well, 2 of the 4 of those are no longer in. So I think the 2 that are left are on a collision course for a heck of a ball game there at AT&T Stadium. We'll see if we get it. You know, the way crazy things are happening these days in football in general, who knows? But at this point, I think Kilgore, there's no reason why they can't win the state championship. They've been battled.
Who they have next?
They will have Lavernia next, I believe.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk. That is one of our pick'em games that we'll talk about once we review all these. But
I have a question for you, Brett.
Okay.
As a Chapel Hill alumnus, what does the future look like for Chapel Hill with now Brisbane leaving and Stewart leaving, because you've had them for the past 4 years? I know you've had Malik G. You've seen what Malik G has. What else is coming up in the ranks of Chapel Hill? What does the future look like?
I think next year they'll be a step back. They'll be a little bit back, and then they've got a freshman group that's really good, undefeated in district. They've got a lot of dudes. They got a dual threat QB that may challenge G for the starting job, just from hearing some things, and they've got a lot of weapons. So I think maybe 1 year they'll still be good. Don't get me wrong, but then I think they'll be back, state contention again with that group. And I really, we'll see if that group says, you never know when you get a group, but I've heard that this freshman group has got a lot of dudes. It's not, they don't have the star power of Stewart Brisbane like that, and then of course Brooks, but they've got a lot of guys that are pretty good. So we'll see what happens here. Oh no, Swaggy, are you playing that music?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Only one thing
can mean that music, Swaggy. The professor's here. Longview's favorite son, the professor, Matt Biggs.
There he is. Diggs.
Full heel mode tonight from Diggs.
See it, Diggs. OCP.
Yeet. Man, I feel like we're getting invaded. It's an invasion, Kyle. It's half and half here. DFW and East Texas here.
It's supposed to be bEast from the East, and now we got.
It is. We can claim it too, right?
West.
Hey, we can claim it. That's all we gotta do is right. Hey, DeSoto, they must be East Texas because the Diggs is getting rid of them probably.
Oh man, there you go.
Can we take Duncanville too? Can we take South Oak Cliff? We'll claim them. Any of those teams, right? I mean, that's the way it works, right, Diggs? If we want to claim them, we can.
I actually use a thing called geography, a well-defined media map, and cities within those counties within our media map is what I would consider DFW. It seems to be that y'all disagree about Henderson County, but just this week we had NBC5 come talk to us about our broadcast schedule with Inside High School Sports, and they're like, y'all got to do Malakoff and Paradise. That's Henderson County. That's our media
Are you
Okay,
now
we're
getting
doing it.
Are you now getting color commentary requests, Diggs, after your stellar performance this past week?
There's some stuff in play actually for that, but
Yeah.
thank y'all for the platform to do that. I'm never going to think about post again. I don't know if you remember that story at halftime when Josh told about his heartbreak at the Pizza Hut in Post, Texas, but that guy's awesome. And it's because of you, Brett. You're like the great uniter, and you bring me and Swaggy on for East Texas Talk, so you're smart too. So
Yeah,
but what I want to do,
it's
and
all
I
about
know I'll make
networking.
it, is when I'm sitting next to Swaggy doing a basketball game.
Oh,
Because that guy, when he's like, watching, what was it, what, Kimball or somebody hooping last year at that Commerce Regional, and I know you didn't like him very much, but you're still.
That was Carter and Faith family. We was getting drilled.
Hey, but it was a good time. But
Yeah.
it was a good time.
I had a great time with you guys, a wonderful time. But man, that ride back was just hurtful.
You
But
can
now that
only,
Faith family is not in UIL anymore,
that's what we
No,
just
it don't work that way no more. Guess what? We got Faith Family Junior to deal with. Kimball.
Hey, so I've recruited your first guest on your new OTC media here. Professor would probably love to join you, Swaggy.
I was gonna ask him that.
You know, he's branching out his own now, Professor. Swaggy's got his own media.
Yeah, Professor, no more dub. I'm on my own 2 feet, like Jimmy say.
well, I still trust when they need you for war games, you'll be there for them.
Okay.
Maybe.
So Diggs,
you might feel a certain way now, but when they need you and you got to get the band back together, you'll have the good feelings there.
Who knows?
Hey,
but don't steal my guys. I still love them to death. I appreciate everything they done for me. I appreciate all the good times. There's always good. They outweigh the bad, and I wish them nothing but success and the best.
just like Jay Uso
Salute.
did, and then he returned. Look at that. You know. Hey, so Diggs, we've gone over the first 4 games, but I want to get your thoughts.
The main event Swaggy is its own special thing.
So game 1, you were there. Honey Grove Joaquin, give us an overview of what you thought of the big win from the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take a lot away from Joaquin because what I watched was a systemic beatdown. Honey Grove was not up to the task, and Joaquin was. Joaquin had a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, and that's why you allow 4 teams in the playoffs, to allow a team like Joaquin to get hot at the right time. I think their road ends this week, but Joaquin impressed me from player 1 to player 22. A really solid team. Really, the first-year coach over there has done quite a good job with them. Honey Grove was disappointing, and I don't think, very much like DeSoto, didn't play up to their pedigree, and Joaquin took more than advantage of it.
Okay, what about Bremond getting their revenge and knocking out Grapeland?
It was a bad time if you were trying to win a game twice, except for your boys who couldn't beat a team. Couldn't get their lick back. But a lot of other teams could get their lick back. We saw Brock was able to beat Graham. We saw Angleton was able to finally beat Laporte. Den Ryan was able to beat Alito. Tyler Chep. Oh, we're not talking about them. But Bremond was one of them that was able to avenge that win. And if you remember, even though I listened to our guy Morgan, who convinced me to take a team that lost 35-0. Convinced me to take a team, a defending state champion, who then ended up beating the team
You should have listened to
convinced
me.
35-0.
You should have listened to me, Professor.
Bremond. But if you remember that pick'em segment, I was like, y'all were all telling me why Grapeland. I ended up staying with Bremond, so I looked good there.
Yeah, you did do there. Carthage just destroyed Van. No surprise there. I mean, we all kind of assumed that was going to happen. And then the Chapel Hill Kilgore game, we talked about that one. Just, I think for Chapel Hill this year, they had some things going on. You know, we had injuries and players out, and just dysfunction. I think it finally caught up to them when they played an opponent that was equal or better than them in the playoffs. And, I think the mental game only will get you so far. I think Kilgore just had too much talent.
Or maybe Kilgore's just that much better than Chapel Hill, because that's pretty much what it's been. Kilgore's just that much better than Chapel Hill. I don't think there's no equal there. There's not an equal thing. Kilgore is on a different level with Chapel Hill, as seen by when they played them twice this year. So Chapel Hill
the first game
they were.
The first game, they didn't have Stewart or Brisbane in that game, so that really wasn't.
Yeah, that helped them in the second game.
Right, but I'm just saying they had some during the season. They had some up and downs within the season that really hurt them once they played somebody like Kilgore. I'm not saying
Kilgore is an elite team, Brett. Kilgore is an elite team, and it's going to be a blue blood game. It's going to be Kilgore and Salina in the state championship. That's going to be a fun game.
All right.
Hey, if that happens, what day would
How you
that
like
be?
me now?
What day would that take place if that does happen?
Thursday.
That's a Thursday's game?
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm there.
All right. So game 5.
I caught that.
That's Friday.
I caught that,
Friday.
Diggs. I caught that, Diggs. How you like me now? I caught that. I like it.
That's because I caught it about 10 times on Twitter. That's the thing with that.
Oh man. Okay, so game 5 was
y'all might need to edit me out of this, because apparently your East Texas brethren want nothing to do with my thoughts or analysis on about anything right now. So
that's okay.
But you know what, Diggs? We love you.
Yeah.
All right, we love you. We love you, Diggs.
Yeah, I mean, we appreciate it. Hey, it's gonna mean they're gonna tune in because they're gonna see you're on here, and we get their views and their clicks. So hey, that's what we're looking for here.
Also, Brett, shout out to Matt Stepp, who tunes into the podcast.
Oh yeah,
from time to time. So shout out to Stepp for checking us out over here in little old East Texas, the far parts of East Texas, not the West East Texas, the East Texas,
the East part. Yeah, game 5 was the game I was at. I got to call that one with that dude is
insane. Like he listens to like 20 podcasts.
I actually I got to do a game with the game day guys this week. Got Ben Watts and his son Brody, which he actually was on the Pleasant Grove team. He's just a senior. He joined the broadcast there in Palestine. I got to see Woodville just put a beating on Dangerfield, guys. And I saw them the week before, and I knew Woodville was going to be good, but all the Texarkana guys like, oh, Dangerfield, it's Dangerfield. They're always been good. They're just, man, they didn't have a prayer, man. Poor Chase Johnson was running for his life. I think he got sacked like 8 or 9 times. And you know how good an athlete he is, and he wasn't able to avoid that pressure. I got to see a game from an individual player, probably the best individual performance from anybody I've ever seen calling games. I want to give a shout out to a man, Tavion Hunter of the Woodville Eagles. This guy, he had a 3-yard touch, a 31-yard touchdown run, a 5-yard touchdown run, a 36-yard touchdown run, a 5-yard touchdown run, and a 4-yard touchdown run, all in the first half. And he had, 5 tutties. 5 in the first half. And then he had at least 4 sacks playing defensive end. He was all over the place. I mean, I feel like there was 2 or 3 of them out there. He leaped over a defender on one run. He just hurdled him. They tried to tackle him. He hurdled over him. This guy was impressive. Of course, Dustin Barlow, the power, the little Jerome Bettis, he had a great game. And Luke Babin didn't have to do a whole lot. He ran a few times and threw it a couple times, but they just pounded the ball. I mean, it was one of the – DeKalb looked bad last week, but they made Dangerfield look even worse. Woodville's a team that's – and again, I kind of compare them to Joaquin. They can run the football. They can play defense. That travels. I like them. I think they are a good chance to go win it all. I mean, you can do that right there. I don't know who they got in front of them, but they're rolling right now.
Well, this Todd Haven.
Well, there is a
team
little
that they're
team
gonna
up
have
here
to-
in the DFW.
Go ahead.
I'm
This
sorry, I was
delay is
lying.
getting
I was
ridiculous.
just going to mention there's a little DFW team that's kind of a powerhouse up here called Gunter. That's the ultimate ending spot. But go ahead and tell us about Tide Haven, KO.
Well, all I was going to say about Todd Haven is that they've got a really, really, really stout defense. Now, I know Woodville's got a really good defense as well. Holding Dangerfield to just 7 points is, with the way that Dangerfield's been playing football right now, that effort from Woodville is tremendous to just hold Chase Johnson and them to 7.
And that was at the end of the game. It was the very end of the game, like within a minute
Yeah.
to go. So it was a cleanup touchdown. I mean, in the
Yeah.
legitimately part of the game when they were all playing their starters, there was no point scored. I mean, it was a domination.
I got to see this Woodville team last week too against DCAB, and I'm with you, Brett. I don't know. If there's a team that stops Woodville, I need to see it, because right now I don't know of a team that can. Now maybe Todd Haven's defense that is been lauded about all season long, maybe they come to play and they can shut down this rushing attack for Woodville, but I haven't seen it. I think there's too many weapons for Woodville offensively with the quarterback. You got Tavian Hunter, like you were talking about, Dustin Barlow. You got others on that offense that can play the defense, run game and defense. It travels. We talk about it all the time, and it's traveling all the way to the 5th round for Woodville. So I'm taking the Eagles all the way. Well, I know we're not picking yet, but spoiler alert, I'm taking the Eagles.
You're taking the Eagles? That's surprising.
Right? Go Birds.
How impressed were you with this one, Diggs? Did you have Woodville winning this game?
No, I had Dangerfield winning that game. I figured if they could beat New Diana, that was kind of their de facto route was going to be what New Diana's route was. And for Woodville to beat them is almost as surprising as the way that Longview beat DeSoto, because it wasn't just a close win. It wasn't just, a pop out. It was an absolute annihilation and humiliation of Dangerfield. I mean, they just sucked out the soul of them and beat them. And to me, you talked about what travels well in kind of a cliche world. That kind of dominance travels well, and I'll stick with KO. I know we're not picking yet, but Woodville's dominance over Dangerfield is the kind of thing of champions.
Speaking of dominance, Game 6, Diggs, you picked against your team, and they said, we are not going to take that. And they took Liberty Allo to the whooping shed. As the Texarkana area teams, they took a beating as Malakoff beat Liberty Allo 35-0. Man, I mean,
let me tell you, Brett, I'm about to go off on a little bit of a rant, so you might want to clip this, because I'm going to do, because this is going to be something. But I will trust somebody once. Like a salesperson, you can sell me what you're going to sell me, and I will trust you once. But if you have that kind of lemon booty analysis that gets so dismantled that it is embarrassing that you said that on the air, I will never trust you again. So I'm sorry to your game day production, your friends up in Longview and Texarkana, but if Morgan says to buy stock X, I'm selling stock X for the rest of my life. That was one of the biggest, worst analysis I've ever seen. That was so confident. He was so confident in saying, I believe this is going to happen, and this is why. And every element of it was wrong. I trusted him, and he made me look like a buffoon. And this wasn't just like some sort of upset or something. This was analysis he gave based on Jefferson and this and that and the other. Like, I've seen these things. He got lemon booty. Morgan is our Beast of the East lemon booty of the week for that analysis. I am.
Oh, well, you should have listened to him when he told you to pick Longview, I guess. That would have been the one to listen to, I guess.
Nobody said pick Longview outside of Longview. So I can't like he got a homer pick, right? Because he's a homer. That's what that was. In fact, did you hear him on that? He's like, well, I can't really pick against Longview, but I have nothing good to say about them because they're about to get their butts handed to them. But then he's right. And he's like, oh, look at me. I'm a Lobo guy. But he gave legit analysis on this, and it was all wrong. It was all wrong.
Oh,
Well, listen, Diggs, this is why you can't trust everything you hear on the internet. Okay. Now, I have been this is no I want to clearly state that I am separating myself from Diggs' statement that he just made. There's no disrespect intended to Liberty Alo. But with that being said, I hadn't been on the Liberty Alo train all year. Y'all have been trying to convince me. And when I say y'all, it's really Brett, because it's been just being Brett half the time on this show.
me.
But
I wasn't me.
y'all have been, well, it was, I heard it from Coach Hubbard. Heard it from Brandon, heard it from Jaron, heard it from all these people on this show about
You hadn't
Liberty
heard
Alo's
from me.
this,
My stance was
Liberty
pretty
Alo's
clear.
that.
My stance was clear, Kyle. Until you gotta, to be the man, you gotta beat the man, and the man is Malakoff. And that's
I'm not saying they're a bad team. I think Liberty Alo's a good football team, but there's levels to this, and Malakoff is on a different level than every other 3A Division I team right now, and it's just a fact of the matter. It's just what it is. Like it's just bad timing. It's like Sammy Sosa and Mark McGuire being in the league at the same time. Somebody's going to lose that home run title because you can't win it every year because there's somebody else on the other side. Like, it's just bad timing. But this Malakoff team is the real 30 in a row, longest active win streak in the state. Like, they're not playing. Like, this is a for real football team. So I take nothing away against Liberty Alo, but I think Malakoff had a little bit of that. They think they can beat us. It said no. Let's show just how dominant we really are, because we haven't. I don't think we've seen. We may still not have seen a full, complete Malakoff game yet. You know what I mean? Like, we may not have seen the best Malakoff has to offer yet, and so that's what makes this team even more dangerous. But yes, I mean, you should have never picked against DFW East Texas.
It makes me wonder, Kyle. It makes me wonder, maybe did Winsboro just have a really bad half? Because if you look at the second half of that game against Liberty Alo, they dominated, but just got off to such a bad start, giving up that many points. Like, because we saw that Malakoff and Winsboro game was close. This game wasn't close. So
no, I think I would be interested. I know we can't do it, obviously, and it's a hypothetical, but I would be interested to see if Winsboro and Liberty Alo played again like last week, then how would that game have looked? Because I was just as shocked at the score of not Liberty Alo beating Winsboro wasn't a surprise. It was the score that was surprising. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, it was complete domination. And that's what brought me to say last week that I think maybe Liberty Alo just took their foot off the gas, because they were up by 40 points and just took their foot off the gas. And Winsboro just started coming back. And we know momentum's a real thing. Once that ball starts rolling, it's kind of hard to get it stopping. So I think that's what that was. As far as I don't know, man. I think Malakoff just came out with a point to prove, and I think Malakoff's a physical football team. They may have just Detroit Lion the Liberty Alo Leopards and just out-physicaled them. I mean, just maybe wore them down. I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure, but it's what it seems like anyway.
All right. Game 7. A game that Kyle, you and Swaggy were at this one, as 15 people picked Longview to win this game on our pick'em. Man, one of them was KO. That's probably, that's why you got a couple this week. Longview upsets DeSoto, and I don't think it was, guys, the upset wasn't the big thing. If Longview would have came out and won 35-34 or something, 50-14. Explain this, guys, because I didn't see any of this game. I saw the chat and I saw y'all talking about it, but I had some other things going on Saturday that I wish I hadn't have watched. Didn't turn out the way I wanted to. But this one, man, just I don't know. Tell me what happened here.
I said this leaving the stadium. I looked up and I saw that scoreboard one last time. and it said Lobos 50, Eagles 14. And I told myself, I said, if you woke me up this morning and you tell me that the DeSoto Eagles, who average 50-some points a game, is going to have 14 points and the other team have 50, then yes. And I was just lost for words, man. Game-wise, hats off. John King, great coach, great leader, great everything. He had a game plan. The game plan was simple. The same game plan he has from week one. Run the football. Don't change up nothing. Line up in that I formation and stop me. And guess what? DeSoto couldn't stop it. And the thing about it is, if you go back to playoff round week 2 against Lancaster, that's a game Longview have to fight back and win. Then you go back to DeSoto versus Lancaster. They blew away Lancaster. So that's the common opponent that both teams have. Then you go back to Saturday, and I'm pretty sure DeSoto walked to that game like, hey, they just barely beat Lancaster. We're going to run through them. And, man, Kelvin Boosie Washington had other ideas. That 98-yard touchdown run, he left me on the sideline like, no, I didn't just see this. I didn't just see this. Like this kid, a 98-yard touchdown run, untouched up the middle. I knew then Coach King and Longview was on a mission. DeSoto just never got into it. They just never caught fire. I mean, Longview came out from the start, punched them in their mouth, and they was never able to recover. I did think at one point when it was I think it was 30-14. And I was like, okay, if DeSoto make this stop right here, then they can get back in this game. And right when I said that, Kelvin said, hold my beer, and scored again. And I was like, I said, well, I think this one is a wrap. This is it. So, man, shout out, like I said, hats off to John King. How many teams you rather know, down to their non-starting quarterback and done what Longview has done? Man, I like I said, I got nothing but respect, and I got to give all the shout out in the world over there to Longview, because believe me when I say this, down here in the DFW, no one, and I do mean no one, picked them to win. As a matter of fact, they was picked to get blew out, and they did the opposite.
Well, you love to see it. You love to see it. That's why we call it bEast from the East, because the Beasts are over here in East Texas. The Longview Lobos. Listen to this stat from our good buddy Matt Stepp, who now watches the podcast. Why don't you give me a follow on X, Matt? Anyway, Longview ran the power 34 times. 34 times, same play. 34 times. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That is legitimately running the ball down DeSoto's throat, just saying, hey, we are more powerful than you. We are just going to show our dominance by just powering the ball. First off, DeSoto's got one of the biggest high school football players I've ever seen in my life. What's his name, Swaggy? Bryson Washington? Is that his name?
Byron Washington.
Byron Washington. Yeah.
Committed to Syracuse.
Massive. Like, he is the biggest high school player I've ever seen in my life. Dude is a freaking hoss. But Longview just, pounded. It was the Boosie Washington show in the first half. And Swaggy's right. In that second half, DeSoto came out, scored, made it 30-14. You're thinking, okay, here comes the DeSoto Eagles. We're going to get ourselves a ball game in the second half. And then Boosie, I want to say it wasn't next play, but it was next 2 or 3 plays just shot out of a cannon to the house. And that at that point you were like, okay, this is Longview's game. This is how this is going today. So Longview completely dominated DeSoto. I didn't see it coming. I picked Longview, but I like you. I thought it would be a close, like Longview'd have to pull it out in the end. Need some, not some luck, but some help, something to go their way for it to happen. I do think that the weather played a huge factor in this game to benefiting Longview. I don't know much about DeSoto, Swaggy, and Diggs. Y'all know this better than me. I don't know if they're more of a passing team or more of a running team, but we know Longview likes to run the ball, and that first quarter was a downpour. Like, it was pouring down rain in that first quarter, which played right into Longview's hands of just power football. So excellent job by Longview. They're going to have their hands full with South Lake Carroll this week, but I mean, why not? Why not? Why not Longview at this point when you got a nominee for Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year, a legit nominee scoring 5 touchdowns against the defending state champs to move on to the state semis? You can't count out this Lobo football team.
DeSoto actually is a balance. Playoff wise, they've been more of a power running team.
Okay.
DeAndre Ritten, Tiger Ritten, who's a Texas A&M commit. They've been relying on him. Longview came out and shut it down. I mean, let's not sugarcoat. Let's be real about it. They came and shut it down. We talking about a kid who in the playoffs has been averaging 300 yards a game. Am I right, Matt?
Yeah, I mean
300 yards a game in the playoffs. Wally East, threes, 299. Last week, 300 and something. So we talking about a team who's just been a powerhouse. And like I said, Longview defense came and shut it down. You got to remember, in the Lancaster game, the Lancaster running back Lee, I think he had like close to like 180 or something on Longview defense. So DeSoto had that mindset, hey, we're going to come in here like Lancaster did. We're going to run it down their throats. And Longview said, no, you're not. We're going to run it down your throats. And DeSoto has never seen a running back do what they done. DeSoto 2 losses. I will say this. The last time DeSoto seen a stable of backs do that to them was North Crowley's, Cornelius Warren, Daniel Bray. They combined on DeSoto's defense in that 57-51 win week 2. But other than that, DeSoto's defense haven't not give up that many rushing yards like that. So to see Boosie go in there and do what he did, man, that speaks volumes that power running game for Longview is deadly. And looking ahead, Carroll better have a great week of practice to prepare for that. Because I'm pretty sure, like I stated before, Carroll be preparing all playoffs long for one team, DeSoto. I guarantee you, they had not even thought about Longview until they saw what happened yesterday. It's been every media here in Dallas has been looking forward to one game. DeSoto, Carroll, DeSoto, Carroll, DeSoto, Carroll. Now, you got to ask yourself that question. Now we're looking at Longview. So, man, looking ahead, that's going to be a matchup for ages because DeSoto originally game plan is to throw the ball, but like you said, that weather took that away, and it played right into the hands of Longview.
Hey, Swaggy, Longview said, not so fast, my friend.
I will tell you this. I don't like looking ahead, but I will. If Longview take Carroll, there's nothing, and I mean nothing. No Houston team down there, from Summer Creek to whoever, no one is stopping Longview and John King from walking away with another 6A Division II state championship. The winner of this game Saturday between these two will be the eventual state champion. I stand on that.
Professor, you agree with that?
I think there's one important thing to say, and I know Brett and Kay are about to have their minds blown. Swaggy, feel free to join me in this. I think you know what's about to happen, but get it sexy, get it sexy, get it sexy. That was.
I saw that's what DeSoto was doing before the game.
That was the downfall.
Hey, Diggs, I didn't see it live, and I was on the sideline with him. I didn't see it live because I was down there talking and doing something. But I had a friend of mine. He said, hey, check your Instagram. So I checked. I said, what I'm looking for? He said, okay, look again. And I looked again. I saw the video. I said, oh, my God, this did not age well.
Oh, man.
Hey, y'all, do y'all remember this game? I remember like yesterday. Do y'all remember this game? Carter played Longview. 2000, I can't think of the year. I want to say it was like the 07, 08 range. Corsicana Stadium, Tiger Stadium.
I was there.
Third round.
I was there. Yeah.
So we was warming up, and we was like, we want to send a message, and we're like, okay. So we had an idea. So every game we drop a hammer at the 10-yard line, 5 to 10-yard line, and we run out to our fight zone. So all the players like, let's do it different. We don't like those guys over there. Let's go. They go run their sideline and drop the hammer on their sideline. So we got our hammer. We ran out the tunnel. We ran towards the 50-yard line, ran to Longview sideline, and just boom, dropped it on them and started dancing, started taunting. Dude, this is how I knew it's so real in East Texas. I don't know who over the horn, the Longview horn, that horn started going off. That whole entire crowd started jumping up and down. That Longview sideline started up and down. And from the opening kickoff, we was hit in the mouth, fumble the ball, touchdown that quick. And just like that, it was lights out. So that is one team I know you don't want to tunt in a pregame.
Well, I mean, it like Kyle said, not called bEast from the East for nothing.
I mean, that game like yesterday, man. We went and tunted those guys for that game. We dropped that hammer. And we said on the bus, we said, that's the worst mistake we made. We dropped that hammer. We should never done that. We should have just played football.
Should have just came out like normal.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure Carl gonna come out with the bleach blind hair. They're gonna come out with the bleach blind hair and they're gonna just play football. I don't think Carl gonna do no stances. Carl gonna do no stunts. They're just gonna go out there and play. If they don't, yeah, it's not gonna be nice for them. And that's what I respect about Longview from yesterday. They didn't talk noise. They didn't rile up. They were out there and they played football. And they walked out of there with a win.
Our last 3 games are our pick'em or our extra games that we added in. Some good ones around the state. We had South Oak Cliff took care of PNG. Columbus over Franklin and North Shore over Atascocita. Man, looking at those games though, I think PNG their championship game was beating Texas High. I don't think they weren't ready for SOG. I think, and several people said that Texas High probably was a better matchup as far as they would have had a chance to beat.
I made that drive to Nacogdoches. I'm gonna tell you this, man. That South Oak Cliff team, Friday night, they was on a business trip. They was on a mission. You can tell that game to them was personal. They felt like that state championship was took from them. They felt like they gave it up. They had to hear it a whole year. PNG this, PNG that. The opening kickoff set the tone of the whole entire game. When he ran that kickoff back and they came to the sideline and they scored the very next play, I said, man, I really do honestly think they're about to blow these kids out. And every hit, everything was just personal. Like, they knew how bad they wanted that game. And they felt like now that they got rid of PNG, I'm going to tell you now, that team down there in Denton County, coached by one of my favorite coaches of all time, Ty Rogers. Matt Diaz, you already know I'm a Ty Rogers guy. That's my boy. That's going to be a dogfight. You got to remember, the first time they played a couple of years ago, South Oak Cliff only won 14-6. So, yeah.
Columbus continues on their run. You know, Grayson Rigdon, he just all he does is win state championships. And he's got the chance to do that. I mean, 3 for 3. Is there anybody that's ever won 4 state championships in high school football?
Player-wise?
Yeah.
Bishop. One of the Bishop kids at Alito.
Okay.
I don't know if it was Matthew or Luke. One of those did.
But I wonder if they were like the player in all 4 games. Like, has he won the MVP in every game? Probably too, I would guess.
I had to go back and look at that. But I know he was the starting quarterback all 4 years.
I mean, it's got to be if he was able to do that, it would be one of the biggest feats
Mm-hmm.
in the state of Texas, I would think. I mean, that's
yeah, because Murray only won 3. He was at Louisville his first year. He came to Allen his sophomore year. So it wasn't him. You know who? You know what? I think what's name will be if he get it done this year. Russell from Duncanville. I believe he'll be the one. That's who it will be. It will be Russell, Keelan Russell from Duncanville, if they get back and win it.
Okay. Going back through this, pick wise, I went 6-4. Kyle, not too shabby. You tied for second there with 8 picks, 8 out of 10. The winner this week though is Aaron Chitwood, 9 for 10. Shout out to Aaron. He's our champ for the week. Diggs, how many did you get right this week? You didn't make any selections on our app, so I don't know that I have you officially.
I thought you were tracking me. I thought you were writing stuff down last week.
No, you have to submit it in the app. That's how. Remember, you know that because last year, remember,
problem.
you tried to catch me. It's easy. It's like the easiest app to ever use for pick'ems. Kyle, how easy?
Tell me the 10 games again, and I'll tell you who I picked, and we'll just quickly add.
So simple. We just went through the 10 games, Diggs.
I don't remember. Just gotta say them.
Okay. So we know you picked Honeygrove. That's incorrect. We know that. Yes. Grapeland, Bremont.
And I missed the photo. I got that right.
You had Carthage, obviously. Kilgore, Chapel Hill. I think you had Kilgore. What about, and you had Dangerfield. You didn't pick Woodville, so that's wrong. You took Liberty Islo instead of Malakoff. That's wrong. You only have 3 right so far. You had DeSoto. You missed that one. How about Oak Cliff and P&G?
I got Sock.
Okay. How about Columbus and Franklin?
Got Columbus.
Okay. And then North Shore, Atascocita.
Got North Shore.
Okay, so you got 6.
I got 6.
So you tied
6
with
and
me.
4.
Okay, not too bad. Looking at the overall standings at the moment, let's see. I'm sure our man is still winning. Scott Poole, he is winning. He has 114. He's in first. Second place, Steve Evans with 105. And third place, Wes Shoe with 102. I'm still down in 9th place. Kyle still got you're
I'm
5 down.
On you.
You're 5
I'm
down.
gaining on you.
You're 5 down. So
do you guys have a guest picker? I want in for next year.
Well, it's on the app. Everybody can pick. Anybody can pick. You just download the NETSN app. We have games each week. So we just
could even pick this week, Swaggy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to wait till next year.
Yeah. All you gotta do is go to type in NETSN in the app store, download the app, the pick'em contest. The picks are already in there. Don't know if you've
I have the app.
Okay. Well then you can do it. It's pretty easy. Okay. All right, let's look at week 16. Joaquin and Ganado, 7:00 game. That's down in at Wood Forest Bank Park, Wood Forest Bank Stadium. I think that's where we're gonna go. Actually, I'll be calling that game. NETSN got that state semifinal for NFHS. It'll be me and Jaron and Jeremy and Larry and Ron and maybe Shires. We're gonna have a full crew there. We're gonna have 2 cameras, hopefully on the field, one down the sideline, one up top. Jaron's going to produce. We're going to have a big production for an FHS this week. And Joaquin Rams deserve it. They have been rolling. And, I know Ganado's a good team, but I can't go against my Rams again. I went against them last week, and, I just can't go against them. I'm going to take Joaquin. I think when you get rolling like this, at this kind of time of the year, and like you guys said, Joaquin's a tough team to prepare for. Ganado's probably never even heard of Joaquin until this week. I think they're going to know who they are after Thursday night, and I think Joaquin moves on and goes to AT&T Stadium.
I'm taking Joaquin. I am not picking against the Joaquin Rams. I don't care who they're playing. They could be playing the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T, and I'm still taking the Joaquin
you wouldn't
Rams.
take the Cowboys anyway. So
that's true. But give me the Joaquin Rams.
If they're playing the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, I'm not taking
it. Okay, I'm just saying. You said anybody.
Listen, that's Joaquin plays a physical brand of football. The Eagles are the varsity of the Joaquin Rams. Okay. So,
all right.
The theme of this week in the pick'ems is going to be get your lick back, because all these teams that won last week that shouldn't have won are going to get taken to task. And Ganado is going to start the revenge tour in a pretty convincing fashion. So give me Ganado.
Why are you such a hater, Diggs? Why do you hate on our East Texas schools?
I don't hate specifically on your East Texas schools. I hate on fourth place teams that shouldn't be here.
Wow.
What? But how should they not be there if they made it to the 5th round?
Because Honey Grove kind of peed down their leg, and it happens, you know.
So
and
that's what
Joaquin
it is.
credit, give Joaquin credit.
He's hurt
for
because his Honey
for
Grove team got beat.
forcing
That's
that.
why. He's hurt.
That's right.
He's
That's
But
what it
Honey
is.
Grove should have won that game convincingly. They didn't. Ganado, Big Daddy Ganado will take care of business for me. We're not going to have 2 crazy upsets in a row on any of these games.
Oh man.
Well,
Your little headline's gonna say Joaquin's favorite son next week.
Maybe we'll get you some good Joaquin gear for next week. All right, Swaggy, who you got?
out of that game,
Yeah.
I'm going with you guys. I'm going with Joaquin.
All right, Swaggy's with us. There we go. All right, game 2. Malakoff and Paradise. Paradise is going to wish that they were in Paradise because it's not going to be Paradise this week. Give me Malakoff by whatever they want.
Oh man, Diggs, you got me choked up over here. Anyway, I'm not picking against Malakoff. 30 in a row. You gotta to be the best, you gotta beat the best. And until somebody beats Malakoff, I'm not picking against. So give me the Tigers.
I'm doing this for you. Swaggy. Or maybe not here. I uploaded a video. Oh, can you play that video? Do you have access to play the video there?
Me?
Yeah. Maybe
I
you're the
see it. Oh, I see this. Oh, I didn't. Hold on. Let me do this.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Holiday. I think
right.
now I do at least have to give a little bit of analysis as far as last 3 years until this year. I did a small podcast for Pilot Point called the District 4-3A Report. It was very popular, very fun. And this year, the District 4-3A Report went away because of realignment. We had Brock go up to 4A Division 2, Paradise and Whitesboro, and them got split up. One of them ended up going out with Life Oak Cliff and the Dallas area schools, and the other ones went west. And Paradise was part of that crew. So I got to cover Paradise for the last 3 years, and their ceiling has been Brock the last couple of years. It's like they got to 2 years ago it was Whitesboro, and then Whitesboro lost to Brock, and then last year it was them losing to Brock, and then we saw what Brock happened to what happened to Malakoff. And I told my friends at Paradise, you got to call Brock and see if you can figure out what you can do to get past Malakoff, because Brock has a little bit of experience. Isn't that Malakoff's last loss was to Brock, 3 years ago? So they know a little bit about all of that. But that being said, there are levels to this, and Paradise, it's almost Paradise. It's not 2 tickets to Paradise. Malakoff should win that game handily.
So what level is Liberty Isle on then, Diggs, since you picked them last week?
I believe Morgan sold me a lemon, and that makes him a lemon booty. That's what that term truly means, because I bought it. I looked at this DeLorean and I thought this can take me back to the future. And
oh man, your Malakoff fans, they all now they're officially off the DFW area. They want to come over here where we truly know Malakoff over here. We knew that they were going to take care of Liberty Isle. DFW didn't even believe in your own DFW school last week, Professor. How embarrassing.
It was rough. It was rough. I mean, he used analytics. He was breaking down the Jefferson game and 5 turnovers and this and that, and talking about matchups, and he spoke to, because Malakoff does have some weaknesses. I saw him last year against Brock, and he spoke to those, and I was like, okay, this team is good enough to take advantage of those weaknesses. And you know what they got? They got 0. They got faulted. They got the ball machine on them. They're going to do it again.
All right, Swaggy, who you got?
Oh, real quick before I make this pick, man, I was going to Nacogdoches, getting back to Dallas, and man, I feel like a little kid, a happy kid in the candy store. I got a chance to see a lot of towns that I've seen on TV and seen like state powers, but I never seen them like the towns. I got a chance to pass through Timpson for the first time and Malakoff on the way back home. And I was like, oh wow, this is Malakoff, and I was like so excited to see Malakoff.
Welcome to East Texas.
Exactly. Like I got a chance to see that part of East Texas. Like I've never been to that part of East Texas. So it was like a joy to see all those towns. Like every time I see a street sign come up, like Timpson, 5 minutes. Like cool. Like Henderson, 5. I'm like, these are all these towns that I like see. But when I saw Malakoff, I actually got just so excited because I've followed Malakoff football for years, and that team is dynamically good, man. I remember they was in a district with Life Oak Cliff, and I want to say, was it Grandview or who the Zebras?
Yeah, Grandview.
Yeah, and I used to see those two games go at each other, and I was like, man. So I'm definitely gonna go with Malakoff because I'm a Malakoff fan without being a Malakoff fan. But it's just something about that school I like.
Hey, Kyle, who's their quarterback again? I can't remember.
It's Mike Jones.
Who?
Mike Jones.
Oh,
Wow.
what's
Definitely like him now.
what's his phone number in case we need to contact him?
In case you need to call Mike Jones, you can call him at 281-330-8004.
Okay.
Would be the phone number for Mike Jones.
All right.
Hey, Malakoff, Swaggy needs some Malakoff gear.
So do I. if we're requesting gear,
Yeah.
Because we'll be at AT&T Stadium with y'all.
And for the next 2 weeks, you can tune into NBC5. That's a Dallas area NBC affiliate, Inside High School Sports, where you can see all of your Malakoff coverage.
Where you can see Professor pick against you every week.
He will.
you can also watch your
against
East
DFW
Texas
teams every week, like half of
You
them.
can also watch your East Texas KLTV Channel 7 and hear interviews with the Malakoff coach, Jamie Driscoll, as well.
Oh, okay.
So you don't just have to go to DFW for your Malakoff news.
I like it.
But what do you have Paradise News on there too? No,
We don't
got
care about
both
Paradise.
because you got DFW's Paradise versus DFW's Malakoff.
Oh, man.
Put them together. They're going to get 30 seconds on
Now, the bigger question for me right now: where is Paradise?
It's in Wise County, like north of Springtown, that area.
Oh, up there in the area. Okay.
Aledo.
Okay.
Up there.
Well, I've got NETSN's, I guess, our one of the schools that we've kind of followed this playoff season, the Woodville Eagles. They're going to take on Tidehaven this week. And, man, I've got to see Woodville 2 weeks in a row, man, and they look dangerous to me. For a 3A Division II team, they've got some big dudes. They've got some fast, athletic dudes. They're just their defensive pressure. I mean, they've played some athletic players the last couple of weeks in DeKalb and Dangerfield, and they've just made them look average. Right now, I mean, I know Tidehaven, defending finalist. I don't think they're making it back to AT&T Stadium this year. I'm taking the Woodville Eagles to make their trip to AT&T Stadium, and I don't think it's close, man. I've just seen Woodville, and they're that team, man. I wouldn't want to meet them right now.
I take back what I said about Tidehaven's defense. I'm looking at their scores, and it's not as impressive as it was last year. Give me Woodville. What did Dig say? By 40. Give me Woodville.
Poor Swaggy. I just bring that dub energy everywhere, and that's what Swaggy has been a part of. That he has basically helped to kind of refuel the industry, just with sayings and fun and swag. I mean, that's why we call him Swaggy over there. But Woodville made me a believer by taking care of Dangerfield. I'm going to take them to take care of business against those matadors of Tidehaven.
I don't know much about neither, but hearing Brett talk about Woodville and the way they are, I'm definitely going to take Woodville because it's like they They're on a business trip to AT&T. Like they like this week in practice. They got their hard hat and they briefcase. They ready to go work.
All right. Next game up on here is game 4, Brock and Carthage. I think we talked a little bit last week that, Carthage and Graham were on a collision course. There was no way that Brock was going to win. They lost 38-0 the last time. Not so fast. Another one of those. How many overtimes did this go to? Was it just one? It was an overtime game. Three overtimes. I knew it was. I just couldn't remember how many. Brock wins, gets the revenge on their district rival there in Graham, and now their reward, they get to play the best team in 4A Division II, the Carthage Bulldogs. Give me Carthage, man. I think it may have been a better. Here's the deal: Graham's probably a better matchup as far as maybe a competition wise. When you play somebody twice, you know how it is, and you can study them and maybe get them, but they could study all day long. I just think Carthage is just Carthage, and they're gonna roll into the state finals next week.
Carthage by 40.
This game is going to be more competitive than I think you're giving it credit for, but Carthage is still a comfortable favorite. I'm going to take Carthage. It'll look like the last couple of Malakoff games because that's Brock's kind of MO. And, if Brock can keep the turnovers down and play a pretty clean game, I think they can, stretch it to the second half, only be down by 2 or 3 scores. And, if they get a couple things go their way, but they're going to need all of that and a little bit of magic. But Carthage, by 2-3 scores.
Man, this is the game of tradition. You talking about Brock and you talking about Carthage. Brock has been a powerhouse at the down level for a lot of years, but now they're up with the big boys. And to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And I've said it earlier, Scott Saran and company, those guys ain't ready to not go to. It's like every year except for, was it last year? They had a bags packed for AT&T. And I think they're gonna have a bags packed for AT&T in the second quarter.
Ooh. All right. Let's take a look at this next one here. I've got this one's interesting. This is in that same. We added a couple extra games in here to make our 10 for the week. This Waco La Vega Wimberley game. It is the other half of this bracket. That's who's left. So you got Brock, Carthage, Waco, La Vega, and Wimberley. Wimberley is one of those teams. They seem to always win Region 4, but how strong is Region 4? Right? We don't know. La Vega, they took advantage of dropping down. They were in 4A Division 1. You had them in Stephenville and China Spring. I think all are in that same district. They've dropped down. Now they're in a Region 3, which is a little bit easier, since they no longer are putting Carthage down there. For a while there, Carthage and Gilmer played. They were split. A lot of people still want that, and there seems like people like to put those kind of the regions together, similar to you've got Texas High and P&G in the same region. I don't know how that makes sense. That's the way it falls. But this one's interesting to me. Wimberley's always there and they're always good, but so is La Vega. And I think this dropping down really helps them. They always have really good athletes. This is a coin flip to me. I haven't followed these teams enough to know who to pick. I'm gonna call on the professor here to give us some analysis, because I know he knows these two teams better than I do. I'm fairly certain. Diggs, how do you see this game as far as from your perspective?
I mean, I can tell you, because this is one of those quirky things, the way I do my regional rankings and whatnot. If you're in a DFW area district, I rank you. And you're talking about that district with China Spring and Stephenville. It was also with Alvarado and Kennedale. They were in a DFW district the last couple of years. So they were ranked with us. So I got to keep an eye on them and follow them a little bit. And this drop off has been very good for them. But you talk about the weaknesses, they were in the weak region, and Wimberley is the team that's kind of your blue blood, and they've been there. I think Wimberley's going to take care of business on this one. La Vega has gotten this far because they've dropped down, and I think now that they're starting to play a powerhouse, they're not going to be able to compete against Wimberley. Wimberley is going to be disciplined. They're going to run that slot T, crazy ground game, and La Vega's got the athletes, but I don't know if they've got the discipline. So give me Wimberley.
Well, and some people had picked Sitting to win them or Sitting to beat them last week. So them getting the win, I saw several people. I think even Tepper picked Wimberley to lose last week. So that's interesting. And maybe it is the region, because we region 3 for Division 1. I've kind of keep up with that one because that's where Chapel Hill's been. It's always been a little weak as far as other districts besides the East Texas district. So that would make sense. I think Wimberley, just because of the pedigree, they've been there. They seem like they're there every year. And I know that they have gotten hit in the past with that Region 3 team, but I think this is a year they can go. I don't know if how well they'll do in the state game. I think it'll be tough for them to compete against likes of Carthage. But for this week, I agree. I like Wimberley, and I'm going to take them to move on.
Yeah, Diggs' analysis there just made me feel better. I was leaning towards Wimberley because I know nothing about either one of these schools, but I was leaning towards Wimberley just because of the pedigree. I know that Wimberley's lost to Carthage twice in state championship games. I believe it was 2020 and 2022, which would only make sense for them to meet again in 2024 and Carthage to win again. So I'm taking Wimberley to knock off La Vega.
Swaggy, who you got?
Man, this is a hard one. Like you said, La Vega dropped down from D1 to D2. That may be enough to get them over this hump. So I'm gonna go with La Vega and those athletes they have out there in Waco. So I'm gonna go with La Vega.
Okay, all right.
Let me correct something, just because I said something and I kind of replayed it back in my head, and I don't want people to be tweeting at us, Diggs giving out bad information. I was thinking of Liberty Hill as your slot T team. Wimberley will throw it around. Wimberley, their quarterback, has thrown for 2,600 yards this year. He's also run for another 1,400. Obviously, that's not the slot T. So I apologize. That was Liberty Hill that I was thinking of. They're kind of that same position year in and year out, but that's not my coverage area. So Wimberley, Liberty Hill, it all runs together. I'm no step that covers.
That's Stover, the quarterback. He's been there several years too. He's a guy that's been around for a few years at their quarterback position. So he's got experience, which always helps. All right, next game 6, Kilgore and Lavernia. I mean, give me Kilgore, man. They're a really good team. I think they're on a collision course with my game 7 pick, which I'll go ahead and give, is Salina over West Plains. I think those two are on a collision course for what could be a really epic state championship game here in a few weeks. So give me Kilgore and then give me Salina.
I agree with you. I think we're going to see a Salina-Kilgore state championship, and that is a delicious game. So give me both those teams.
Well, I don't want to go against y'all. I'll give you a 2-pick special as well. Give me the Kilgore Bulldogs and the Salina Bobcats to meet at AT&T Stadium.
Swaggy?
I'm right there with y'all. I think these two teams on a collision course, and they're going to give us one hell of a state championship game. And I cannot wait for it.
All right. Game 8. The South Lake Carroll Dragons against the Longview Lobos on Saturday here. Any chance, Diggs, you're Longview's favorite son now. Do you have the Lobos now? They've knocked off the defending state champions. Can they get the win over South Lake Carroll this week?
I can put my L's up here. Absolutely not. Believe in the South Lake Carroll Dragons. They're not gonna lemon booty like DeSoto did. They're not gonna go get it sexy. Get it sexy. Come on, Swaggy, get it sexy. We're not gonna be seeing in any of that. We are just going to see good old-fashioned, high-octane offense. Longview going to get the lick back that DeSoto should have given them. South Lake Carroll will take care of business. And really, if you want some specific analysis, if you look at what Lancaster did, Lancaster had a really good defensive line. And you didn't hear about Boozy in that game because Boozy thrives against average to below average defensive lines. And really, that's DeSoto's weakness. And you're not going to see that with South Lake. South Lake is going to have the discipline. South Lake is going to have the defensive line. And they've got the offense. Even if I'm a little bit wrong about that defensive piece, South Lake Carroll's got the offense that can go. I mean, they scored almost 60 on Denton Geyer, which has got the athletes. So I think South Lake Carroll on both sides of the ball is going to be the discipline that we didn't get with DeSoto. Give me South Lake Carroll. I'm not going to say by quality, but I think South Lake Carroll will take care of business.
I hear you, and I respect your analysis and opinion. But ain't no way I'm picking against the Longview Lobos. Give me Boosie Washington and the Longview Lobos to take down is it Riley Dodge that's coaching over there now? The Riley Dodge-led South Lake Carroll Dragons. I remember, fun fact, who wants story time with KO Baby? Here's a story time with KO Baby. I was at a state championship game one time at Old Texas Stadium, and South Lake Carroll was playing. I don't remember who they were playing, but Riley Dodge was the quarterback. And it was right before a play. It was like they were like the 20-yard line or something. And he's at quarterback, like barking out signals, and he lifts up his helmet and throws up right before, like throws up on the field right there, puts his helmet back in, takes the snap, throws a touchdown pass. I said, this dude's a dog. He throws up in the middle of the field, then tosses a touchdown pass. So that's my Riley Dodge memory. But all that being said, give me the Lobos. By 40. No, I'm just kidding. But give me the Lobos for real.
I want to say that. I want to say that was. It was who?
Austin Westlake, 2008.
Yeah, Westlake. Okay.
There it is.
All right. Well, I mean, I picked against them last week, but I can't go against my Lobos. They knocked off the defending state champions. If they've already beat the state champs, they beat the man. They must be the man now, right? You beat the man, you are the man. So I'm going to go with Longview, and I'm not going to be picking against them for the rest of the season. I'm going with the Lobos. I think they get by this week. South Lake Carroll, I think there's a very good chance they take that trophy home back to where, Kyle? bEast, Texas.
bEast, Texas, the Longview, the home of the Piney Woods.
Man,
Diggs loves us.
Look at him.
this here is tough, man. And I mean extremely tough, and I'm going to tell you why it's tough. You got one of the most explosive, like dynamic offenses, both of them for that matter. Here go the kicker. Now here go the common denominator right here. This right here is going to ultimately decide this football game. The South Lake Carroll is down to their third string running back in Glenn, who's a converted wide receiver running back. They've been getting by against Hebron and Denton Geyer. But we saw what Longview's defense is capable of, stopping DeAndre Rodden yesterday from DeSoto. He only had 94 yards before he went out the game, and everybody else was just shut down. The question is this: can Boosie have an encore performance? If he does, this is a cakewalk. But here go the only difference: DeSoto secondary and South Lake Carroll secondary are two different secondaries. Carroll has a secondary. Carroll has a receiving core. Carroll has a quarterback who can sling the ball all over the field. That's going to be the difference. That's going to be the huge difference. So I'm going to go with my gut here. Man, this is hard. Oh. I just think John King and Longview is just hungry. They want this. They want it bad. But guess what? So does Riley Dodge. Riley Dodge wants this badly. DeSoto has been a thorn in his side. They're gone. They're gone. Riley Dodge is looking right now and looking at the big wall and said, guess what? The Eagles are eliminated. This championship is here. We're right there with it. We're close. We don't have to deal with the subtle high power offense no more. If we can just key in on stopping Kelvin Washington, we will be in AT&T Stadium. And guess what? The South Lake Carroll Dragons, by a hair, by a 3-point game, will be in AT&T Stadium. Sorry, Cal. I love you though.
Man, I thought we had him over on our side, KO.
I thought we swayed Swaggy there for a
Hey,
second.
bro.
No,
Hey, Brendan Cal. The thing that swayed that the decision, just the fact that, like I said before, DeSoto is out the way. Carroll want this. They know how bad they want this. DeSoto has been the team that has stopped them 2 years in a row from getting there. They want it. And I feel like they're going to go out there Saturday and they're going to play hard and walk out there with a 3-point win. 38-35, walk-off field goal, Carroll.
DeSoto may be out of the way, and the Dragons may not have to worry about the Eagles, but they got a big bad Lobo standing in their way now.
Oh,
All right.
They do.
All right, game 9.
Again,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm not gonna hold on, Brett. Hold on, Brett. I just want to say, you have to look at Longview, and you have to look at the totality of their season. And yes, you can look at this one game and be really excited. And you can look at this and go, okay, this is an incredible turnaround. And it maybe something happened. Maybe the fluoride in the water stream in Longview has turned this mid-level 15 to 18th ranked area team into a North Shore Duncan. Maybe that has happened. Maybe y'all have gone from Optimus Prime into Rodimus Prime or something. Like you've transformed and you're now like the next level. It's possible. But this is a team that when you look at it should have lost to Rockwall Heath. They should have lost to Lancaster. I mean, these are mid-level Metroplex teams that Carroll would have just blown out. And Carroll's going to have the focus. Carroll's going to have the discipline. And I know they got some injury issues and they got some depth issues, but they found a way to overcome them. Riley Dodge is very prepared. This is an elite team in South Lake Carroll. And if Longview can do it twice, I will tip my hat to them. But again, when you look at the totality of their work this season, it's not been great. This is a team that lost to South Oak Cliff. Nothing against South Oak Cliff. They're probably going to win a state championship. They lost to Ruston, Louisiana. This is not an elite Longview team. This is a team you can be excited about, but just because they did one game. If you look at that one game by itself, it is nothing you've seen all year. I mean, they beat DeSoto the way they beat Royce City. I mean, that's just not normal. It's just not normal. So you got to take that game and throw it out. And when you look at the totality of what South Lake Carroll has in their roster, they should take care of Longview.
Or you could be a homer for bEast Texas and just say Longview's going to win because they're Longview.
Yeah.
Also, 67 degrees and sunny on Saturday.
Yeah, you've been kicked off the Longview. You're now South Lake Carroll's favorite son, Dig. Sorry.
I add this real quick before we move on. Like Grace, though, if it's raining again, it falls back in Longview's favorite because that throwing the ball is going to be a big key for South Lake. So you take that away, then it's going to be a different ball game.
Okay.
67 and sunny.
Game 9, Austin Vandergrift versus Humble Summer Creek. Man, I've been looking at this one, trying to do a little research, and you look at Summer Creek's schedule. They've only got a couple of losses on there, guys. They've lost to Galena Park and North Shore by 25, which North Shore is pretty good if you don't know. And then lost to Atascocita, also in their district, by 3. Very good team that North Shore just knocked out last week. That's the only losses on their schedule. Their playoff wins right now: 66-7, 49-7, 54-20, 51-7. Give me Summer Creek. They move on.
I know nothing about either one of these teams. I am completely blind going into this. But what I will say, these two teams have something in common. They're the last two teams to get beat by DeSoto in the state championships the last 2 seasons. So that doesn't help me with anything. Give me the Viper mascot more than a common bulldog. So I'm going to take Vandergrift.
Okay.
Okay, I just put a picture up here. Let's upload it. Share it with us, Brett.
Okay, I got you.
We got right up there. That is the famous picture of the Summer Creek coach looking up at the scoreboard after he's down like 40 points to DeSoto last year. He's like, where did my life go wrong right there? But he's actually used that as a rallying cry because he doesn't ever want to look like that again. Give me Summer Creek.
All right. That's great.
Hey, just like the South Lake Earl situation. There's a team in Houston saying to themselves, hey, we got 70 points put on us in the state championship game last year. But guess what? Those guys we don't have to face this year. So we just take care of our business Saturday. Guess what? We have a different opponent. Summer Creek is going to take this game. They're going to roll big because they know what lies ahead. You're going to have Longview or South Lake Earl. No DeSoto to deal with. So, yeah, I got Summer Creek big in this one.
All right, game 10. Galena Park North Shore versus Austin Westlake. And North Shore is just one of those teams they're like clockwork. Westlake has one loss this year. That was to Atascocita earlier in the season by 18 points. A team that North Shore just destroyed last week. Give me North Shore by a lot.
Beat them twice.
Yeah.
If you use I like to use Metroplex calibration because that's what I do. We do have a couple of common opponents, and you can even kind of get a little bit of a Longview reference here. Lake Travis beat Rockwall in a back and forth 1-score game, and Westlake just beat Lake Travis by about the same by a touchdown. And Austin Westlake just very first game of the year, they beat Prosper by 2 touchdowns, a game they were losing at halftime, and they came back and won that game. And then they lost to Atascocita. So when you start calibrating these kind of games, that means Austin Westlake's kind of like Allen. It's kind of like, Denton Geyer. These are teams that are just right below that state championship tier of your North Crowley, your Duncanvilles, and it used to be DeSoto, your Duncanvilles and your North Crowleys and your North Shores. And now they're playing one of those elite teams. I don't think they're quite at that level. So give me North Shore.
Want a fun fact about this one real quick?
Go for it.
Fun fact for you. Over the last 6 seasons, these two teams have combined for just 10 losses. Combined for just 10 losses over 6 years. North Shore just 5. Westlake just 5. That's it. Perfect 10. Go ahead, Swaggy.
Man. I'm going to go with North Shore. But these two teams has played tough with each other in the last, 3, I believe, semifinal games. Westlake won 1 the year they got to, the year they beat South Lake for the championship. I said at the beginning of the year, week 0 to be exact, when I picked my state championship game, I said at this game, I said North Crowley versus North Shore. I'm sticking to that.
Okay.
No, I'm taking North Shore. Give me North Shore. Give me North Shore.
All right.
No analysis needed.
Just that's all you need to say, right?
None.
Okay, so any games that we didn't pick statewide that you guys think are games to watch out for this week?
Oh yeah, Duncanville, North Crowley.
Okay.
The other 10 games in the state, Brett?
Well, just in specific.
Literally the other 10 games.
I know.
We got 20 games left at this point.
I understand, but specifically like anyone.
Every single one of them.
Well, but they may not all be like, there's some teams that make it there that maybe they were that fourth team. They just got an easy schedule, Diggs, like you said. Maybe they shouldn't be
Like
there.
Longview.
See.
The show stealer, South Oak Cliff, Argyle.
Okay.
That's the show stealer. Like I said, when they met 2 years ago, it was only a 14-6 win. And you got to also understand this. Diggs, you remember this, don't you? It took a South Oak Cliff goal line stand to preserve that 14-6 win. If Argyle would have scored that touchdown, then we'd have been talking about something totally different. So it's going to be a good game. You got Todd Rogers versus Coach Todd. Two story good programs. Argyle is always loaded, always have talent. South Oak Cliff has the same. That is going to be a dogfight. That's going to be a defensive battle. I'm looking at a 21-17 type ball game, and it can go either way. I'm taking South Oak Cliff, but I won't be shocked if it don't go either way. As far as North Crowley, Duncanville, this is the game that the Metroplex has been circling and waiting on. Everybody. Last year, North Crowley came out there and got absolutely drilled by Duncanville. But that Duncanville team featured Caden Durham, who's now at LSU. This year's Duncanville team doesn't have a Caden Durham. In fact, they don't have a running game, period. Would that be the default this year? We don't know. But North Crowley on the other end, they're loaded. I think Chris Jefferson is undoubtedly one of the best quarterbacks in Texas. I think Quentin Gibson probably is the best receiver in Texas. No, I take that back. No, he's not. DeCorian Moore is. He's one of the best receivers in Texas. I think North Crowley has a great offense, but the only question mark about North Crowley is going to be who's going to stop DeCorian Moore and Keaton Russell. If Russell and Moore get going early, it's a wrap. North Crowley has been down 14-0 to Byron Nelson. It was 14-14 to Byron Nelson, 21-21 at halftime. They shot out to a 56-21 win. They got down 14-0 to Capel and fought back and won. I'm going to tell you this. You cannot, and I repeat, Diggs, I know you know this, you cannot let Duncanville gain a 14-0 lead on you because you're not coming back.
Absolutely. I mean, I figure this is a one-score game either way, but the kind of the thing that gives me a little bit of a pause is who's got the best player? It's Duncanville. So, I think North Crowley's got a little bit of a coaching advantage. I love their offensive coordinator. He's one of those analytics gurus, go for it on fourth down quite a bit, 2-point conversions. I think that's going to get, I think that by talent, Duncanville is about 7 points better than North Crowley. I think that's going to that's going to equalize it as that coaching advantage. But then I'm just going to give it to Duncanville for having the best player on the field in a absolute barn burner of a game that could go either way. Last year, I knew North Crowley was going to get blown out. This year, it's not going to surprise me if North Crowley wins this game.
Like I said, I think it's going to come down to defense for North Crowley. If you stop Moore and Russell, go 3 and out, you got a chance. But I will say this, I'll point this out. Richland running back had 258 rushing on Duncanville Saturday. If that's a plus to hang your head on, North Crowley. But you're going to need just everything. You're going to need a whole 4 quarters to go toe-to-toe with that monster. I wouldn't be shocked if we don't see Duncanville, North Shore, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is it now? What would it be? 5, 6. I would probably won't see part 6 in 2 weeks. I wouldn't be shocked. But I'm pulling for North Crowley.
And if you want my ending salvo, Brett, if you want to put that picture back up there for just a second for a little bit of a goodbye message right there. I think that's what Coach King is going to look like after he looks at the SMU board this week. He's going to be looking up at it going, how you like me now?
Oh, man. So,
hold on real quick. Hey, Matt, you might want to stop that. The last time we seen the team, Coach King, they left McLean Stadium pretty sad. I'm just saying. I don't think you want to poke that
We're
bear.
we're not gonna be getting it sexy though. It's just
Hey,
how do
listen.
you like me now?
Hey, leave that Lobo alone. Just go out there and play because you might get curled or natural born whooping with that one.
So
Nobody
Kyle,
from Longview is gonna watch this. Okay.
Kyle, where are you going to be this week?
I don't know yet. Actually, I'm thinking about maybe doing the doubleheader down in New Caney on Thursday night with Woodville, and then Friday night with Kilgore, and then maybe possibly going over to Gerald Ford Stadium on Saturday to watch Coach King look up at the scoreboard at SMU Stadium. But
Okay.
hopefully, he looks up at the. Let me clarify for the Longview people watching. He's looking up at the scoreboard, and the Lobos are on top of the scoreboard. That's what he's looking up there, not the way that Diggs is talking about. But
so you think that picture is what I'm gonna look like looking at like
look,
this?
you're gonna be
Lobo
looking
magic.
at the Lobo score like, oh man, that's tough. This could be another rough week on Beast from the East.
Yeah.
But no, I'm thinking about doing that doubleheader in Woodville since there's two East Texas teams playing in their back-to-back nights, but not 100% sure yet where exactly I'll pop up at.
Yeah, you never know where KO is going to be. Professor, where are you going to be this week? You've decided where you're
I'll be
going?
at the Star Thursday and Friday. I'll be at Malakoff Paradise, DFW Zone, and then Denton Ryan and Highland Park.
Okay. All right. That's a good one. Swag, you going somewhere this week? Some games?
Yeah, I am. Real quick, Matt, where's Malakoff game at?
Star Thursday night.
I might pop up at that. I do want to.
DFW area game in town. So
I'm coming to that most likely. Friday I will be at South Oak Cliff and Argyle. Can't miss that one. And Saturday I'll be at the North Crowley. DeSoto. No, North Crowley Duncanville showdown.
Okay.
That's probably it about this weekend. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to be down in the Conroe area for Joaquin and Ganado. We get to call that game on for NFHS. So we'll have a crew going down. The Papa O will be going with me. I don't know if you knew that yet, Kyle, but he's going to be running the camera. So should be a lot of fun. And we'll have a full crew. I think Jaron and Jeremy and Larry's going to go. Maybe have another few. We're going to try to put on a nice broadcast for NFHS. You know, they don't always have the greatest streams, but we're going to try to put one on for the Joaquin Rams and try to maybe see if they can make that state championship appearance. So we'll see how it goes. But that's right. And then Friday, I guess I'll just be watching. That's probably going to be it for football season, unless we go next week to a game. I don't know if we're going to do one or not, but I get to kind of sit back and take it easy on a Friday night. Maybe the first Friday off I've had in a long time. So it'll be kind of nice.
So you want me at the Kilgore and Solana game live?
Well, they have their own. We'll see. We'd have to buy the rights to do the audio. I don't know.
I'm coming to the game.
Oh, coming to it. I'll be at work. Yeah. Y'all have that real job thing, you know. I kind of have to.
I understand you on that one. Me too.
There's very possible that it would be up on my computer, possibly, maybe.
Around this time of the year, every year, this is my vacation time, state championship time. Oh yeah.
Well,
no.
The ISD makes you work with the Friday before Christmas. Come on.
The problem is
they should give you that off.
That I get 2 weeks off for Christmas working at the school. So, you know, if I took off,
point.
And then I'd be out. Yeah, it's kind of frowned upon. Now, if Chapel Hill was there, then the school would shut down and I could go.
Everybody be there.
But that's unfortunately. That's about it. Anybody have any final thoughts before we close? Swaggy, give everybody else remind them what your new media outlet's about, and you plug that.
Okay, my new media outlet is called OTC Media, and it's like I stated earlier in the progress, it's not the original Tribal Chief. It's that for Only with True Confidence Media. I'm basically gonna be talking about same thing you guys basically talking about, but because of the DFW area, I'm gonna branch out a little bit. I'm trying to aim for all over Texas. I'm not trying to aim just for the DFW. I'm trying to go global, go around Texas. course, it's gonna be basketball because basketball finna pop in the next week or two. I'm gonna cover the last 2 weeks of football also, and just interview players, coaches, and just have fun.
All right, that sounds cool. And what's that podcast that everybody can go troll you on, Diggs?
Well, if you want to dig for wisdom, drops every Wednesday on YouTube with Inside High School Sports. And we have a lot to say about this past game. I held myself accountable, but I also explained some of the interesting things that were happening that game, including get it sexy. Get it sexy. What? Get it sexy.
I want to know if
sexy. What?
I want to know if the Malakoff game was mentioned on this show.
It was, and I didn't quite go off on Morgan the way I did here. I saved that for this, but I did share that I learned a little bit, and I was sold a lemon. Sold a lemon.
Oh man.
Morgan may be a business genius. That game day stuff is some of the most well-produced media and stuff across the state. Rockwall has even kind of done a little bit of a variation on that. So business genius, but his football brain, a little disappointed. A little disappointed.
That's going to do it for this week's edition of Beast from the East, Week 16, state semifinals. Good luck to your teams if they are still in. Make sure you get your pick'ems in before Thursday. There'll be games on Thursday. For KO Kyle Owens, the Professor Matt Diggs, Swaggy, I'm Mr. NETSN Brett 20 signing off for this week. Good have a great rest of your week and weekend. Good night, everybody.
Not mad, Morgan, just disappointed.
Lean on your brother tonight. Let your brother count on you every play tonight. Okay? And then come out and have fun. The gates are locked. Ain't nobody getting out now. They can't run. The gates are locked. Let's bring the fight to them, guys. Yes, sir. Daddy, brother. Let's pray.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at NETSN.